Hello friends, Semigram doing TCGs yet again. Doing it a little different again today. Not a booster box opening, not a surprise to see what we pull, but some pre-con Blitz decks. I've seen a couple of these get opened, and I've seen what a few folk have pulled out of them, and I want to look through essentially the entire bundle of them and see if these really are all they're cracked up to be as far as like the gold standard of Blitz decks. So, bear with me for a moment as I prepare these a little bit for you. Alright, so we got one new pre-con Blitz deck for each of the heroes. 3 returning friends, 2 of which with some glow-ups. One just looking a little bit different, different costume, but 2 with completely different setups. And 3 newcomers. So, let's start with Betsy. First thing right off the rip to notice is we've got rainbow foil young heroes again, which I like a lot. I thought that was really cool that they did in the original Blitz decks, and they have not been doing as much lately. You get into the weapons, High Riser, Bloodied Oval. We're going to come back to this. Vigor Girth, Gauntlet of Might, like stuff from the set itself is what we're seeing here. This hat's a rare. A rare Betsy specialization. I think this is really, really good. So it's Temper too. That's already pretty nice for a rare. Destroy a gold you control. Your next attack this turn gets, when this attacks a hero, wager might and vigor with them. Go again. So you have a pretty good chance of making the choice to do this if you've got a pretty monster swing coming in, especially since Betsy herself, her ability is whenever an attack you control wagers, you may pay 2, if you do, +1 overpower. So can't be blocked by more than 1 action card, and a boost overall. Situational depends on which hero, like, Dorinthia, warrior kind of in general is going to have a whole lot of reactions. But if it's an action heavy, another guardian, a brute, that's a decent spot to be in. So Betsy's ability is pretty fun, but this to go with her is pretty awesome. We get Smack of Reality, which is fun. So Tower is another fun thing. If this has 13 or more, when it hits, destroy all tokens they control, which in this set, where tokens are king, that gets to be big. Over the top, if attack is greater than its base overpower, command respect. When this hits a hero, if it has attack greater than base, destroy a card in arsenal. That's pretty nice. So command and conquer, but command and conquer light almost, a little bit more expensive, but buffable. Concuss. When this hits a hero, if this has greater than its base attack, they discard a card. Wage gold is a pretty fun. I like this universal thing, so it becomes whatever class it's in. So in this case, it is a guardian attack action. Wager gold with them when it attacks a hero. Wager might. Just lots of different stuff. Wage vigor. Big bop. I love the name of that. At the start of your turn, destroy this. Then your next guardian gets +5. And when this attacks, you may wager a vigor. That doesn't stink. I like a lot of this set. Even the warrior stuff is something that I'm kind of fiddling with Dorinthia deck design, is kind of setting up a future turn with go again. Even if you can't get something in this turn, there's a lot of fun stuff for that. Bigger than big. Same, destroy this at the start of your turn. +5 and wager might. Okay, now here's where the things get fun. So we've got these extended art cards that, to my understanding, much like the Rainbow Foil Heroes, the only place to get them is in these Blitz decks. So we got Money Where Your Mouth Is. We got Rainbow. Well, I'm assuming there's blue. There's only 2 yellows, so I'm guessing once we get over there, because most of the rest of these cards are just the blue repeats of what we've already seen. Pint of Strong and Stout being an exception. These are fun. So it's a 0, go again, block 2, but just create Might and Vigor. On a blue, let's do it. Stacked in your favor, your attack action cards get +1 while defending. At the start of your turn, destroy this, draw a card, and put an action card, or put a card from your hand on top of your deck. Yeah, there's the blue. So yeah, so the extended, and Betsy, 2-star difficulty. So those extended art cards are a fun little quirk. They had done non-foil extended art cards early on, like some of the Welcome to Wraith stuff like that. I've got a couple of those, not a ton, but like I think I've got an Iron Song response that's full art. A few things like that from the old days. But same deal. His foiling kind of hides a little bit in all the green. But, oh no, it pops good in the light here. That's pretty nice. He's got a Mandible Claw and a Ball Breaker. Okay, so 2 different things there. We got a Monstrous Veil. Destroy this, draw a card, and discard a random card. Okay, sure. The thing there is it gets you triggers for both the draw card and discard card effects. Whenever you discard a card with 6 or more attack, stuff like that. There's a lot of that in here. Beat Chest. I love this new keyword too. As an additional cost to play this, discard a card with 6 or more attack. When this attacks a hero, if you've beaten Chest, Intimidate. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff like that in here that I like a lot. Assault and Battery is another Beat Chest, create Agility. Pound Town, Beat Chest, create Might. Beast Mode. If you've intimidated, this is +2. Pack Hunt, returning friend. Bare Fangs, returning friend. Agile Windup. These are pretty cool. With the coming in, they're expensive, but they come in, they're poppers. They got big attacks on them. This one's 765. But you can just instant discard the card from hand to create an agility token. Sure. So you've got extra utility there. I like that a lot. Mighty Windup, instant, discard this, create Might. And Bonebreaker Bellow is our extended art one here. That's really nice. Pat Call, Agile Windup, Mighty Windup, the yellow Bonebreaker Bellow, Assault and Battery, Pound Town, Bonebreaker Bellow. That's a cool looking piece of art. That extended art looks really good on it. Lead with Power. Your next Brooder Guardian attack gets +1. Create Might. I like that one. And Lead with Speed. That's one of the cards that I'm fiddling with a little bit. Because I play this, I get a slight bump. Maybe I get something through. But I also get an agility. So I know I have Go Again next turn. The Ale Horn doing the same thing. Agility and Might. So that is pretty nice. Back to one of our new friends with Olympia. Ooh, I didn't see what Reinar's difficulty level was. Olympia. Are you not entertained? I really, really want an altar of this. That is Maximus. Okay, so we get a Centauri Saber and a Parry Blade. That's kind of fun. Getting one of the new weapons, but also getting the old classic. Destroy it. Pay 1 and destroy it. Target weapon attack wagers a gold token with the defending hero. Sure. wage agility. So that's just a big, when it attacks, wage your agility with them. I like these. Wage vigor. Rising energy. If you've drawn a card, it costs 1 less. I don't love these quite as much, but I see their place. I like this one. If you've drawn a card, it gets go again. Rising speed. Agile engagement. This is one that I'm a big fan of, I think. A reaction. So it's a bump. It's a pump regardless, but especially if you've been blocked with an attack action card, you get agility. That can be handy, especially if it's like, I need to get some damage in to keep my counter, but I'm not going to get a second attack, or I'm not going to be able to do whatever. You get your agility, or if they throw a defense reaction at you, you still get something out of having played it. That's an extra little bit. Fatal engagement. I want to like this one. I'm not sure I do yet. Play if an attack action card is defending this chain link for 2. It buffs 5 though. I like that a lot because it's a weird break point, but I just don't know about it for 2. That's one that I'm gonna have to ponder on. I like this one for Olympia in particular. Take the upper hand. Play this only if you've wagered. Gets +3, but it's free. Edge ahead is our extended art. Next warrior attack is +3, and when this attacks, wager agility. I like that. Hold'em is the same thing, but vigor. This might be, maybe not favorite, but if this is defended by an attack action card, this gets go again. It's a front buff for +3. I do like that. Lead with speed again. Talked about that already. Edge ahead. Getting just the other versions of some we have already seen. But yeah, there's a lot to like here, is part of what I'm getting at, I guess. Between the foil heroes and the extended art shenanigans, there's a lot of good stuff. Man, I'm mangling this box and not getting it shut. We'll go to KO. Go back to another returning friend, but slightly different. He gets new art, but less arm. You have 1 weapon zone because you have 1 arm. Attack action cards you own get +1 while they're in any zone other than combat chain. First time you discard a card with 6 or more during each of your action phases, create might. So you're getting yourself a lot of might, which is nice. But for all those brute abilities that, hey, if you discarded a 6 or more, a whole lot more cards just became that. A whole lot more cards are now viable in your deck. This guy's kind of awesome for that. Only one-handed weapon, so that makes things a little tricky. Mini meat axe though, that's fun. So there are things he's not running. When this attacks, draw a card and discard a random card. That could be fun. Knucklehead, destroy this. Until end of turn, your base intellect is the number rolled. That can be nasty. I've seen that be a problem. Somebody rolled a 6 and just wrecked the guy. Fair Fangs, Wild Ride, we know these. Agile Windup, okay. I did not realize this was his extended art, and that looks awesome. Oh, that's really cool. That's one of the things I joked, down but not out. This is one of the very complicated cards that has had some issues coming up with it already. When this attacks a hero, if you have less health and control fewer equipment and tokens. No, that is not how it reads. This is why Oxford commas are important, friends. I will beat that drum for a long time. For a long time. That is, if you have less health and control fewer equipment and control fewer tokens than them, this gets +3 overpower. And you're getting a lot if it hits with all those tokens, but you got to hit all of those requirements, not just combining equipment and tokens, basically. Rally the rear guard is a reappearing. Lead with power. Speed. Run into trouble. Pack call. Lots of returning. That looks so good in extended art. So I keep a copy of each precon blitz deck. 1.5 difficulty. All right. So people are saying that they're disrespecting KO a little bit, saying he's easy peasy. Is that what I'm seeing? I didn't check Reinar's difficulty. I forgot to, and I kind of don't want to reopen it right now. Maybe I will anyway. Who knows? But we'll see what Victor has to say about that. The first time you create gold token from an effect you control, draw a card. Fail to win a clash, you may destroy a gold you control. If you do, put one revealed card on the bottom and clash again. Miller's Grindstone. This is kind of fun. When this hits a hero clash, if you win, destroy the top card of their deck. If they win, put a -1 counter on this. I kind of hate this a lot. When this defends together with 2 or more yellow cards, create gold. That doesn't stink. Blade break, but if you play it right, you're in good shape. Command respect again. Concuss again. Thunk. There we go. When you win a clash, revealing this, create might. That's fun. Like, if this is revealed for that. Test of strength, this is fun too. When this defends, it's a block. Clash gold. Thunk. I love it. Performance bonus. This is a card I like. It's a trade-off, trade-in, but with a gold token. I like that. And go again from Arsenal. That came in handy in limited. I'm not sure it's a super viable, constructed card, but in limited and I'd say in commoner. So 2 stars here too. In limited and commoner, I feel like it's got some utility. All right, y'all though. Y'all know I love my Warriors. This Kasai, first things first, I glanced at somebody at pre-release playing a Kasai that just had the regular one. I'm like, oh, did you pull a Marp? Oh, no, that's just the friggin' token. Never mind. In rainbow foil, and this is just a dumb good-looking piece of art on this card. Like, the color pops, everything about this is excellent. Her ability is a little wild. If you've drawn a card this turn, your sword attacks cost 1 less. That doesn't stink. Draw a card to get a built-in Courage of Bladehold. Sure thing. I brought my own. Once per turn action, banish 2 red, 2 yellow from your graveyard. The next time a weapon you control hits a hero, create gold. Simple enough. Centauri Saber and Hot Streak this time. When this is defended by 1 or more attack actions, its attacks get go again this turn. Hood of Red Sand is another fun one. Banish red and yellow from your graveyard. Destroy this. Target sword attack gets, when this hits, draw a card. Simple enough. I really like flat trackers, actually. Just to destroy it to get agility. That makes me happy. It's one of my more favorite equipment options. Rising Energy. I don't love that card. Rising Speed, I like. Performance bonus, as discussed. Trade-in, I was right. There we go. Agile Engagement, which we've already discussed. I like this one a lot. Vigorous Engagement. I don't like Vigor quite as much, at least not in Dorinthia, but I could definitely see where this also has value. For the same reason, I'm being a little bit dumb with that, I think, because this is, hey, if it's defended, you get an agility. You've got to go again. Why not spend a resource to banking a resource, basically? Why not? Cut the deck's fun. Plus, target attack is +3. If it's defended by attack action called, draw a card, then put a card from hand or arsenal on bottom of deck. That's nice to clear it. Ooh, draw swords looks nice. Your next warrior attack gets +3. Draw a card. It's expensive at a 3 cost, but that draw a card, there's not a lot of draw a card take it on the chin, prevent 2 if you do create agility, like that. Like, there are things to do with that, for sure. And then here's create agility and vigor. What are your stars? 3 stars. That does not surprise me a whole lot. She does feel like she is a little bit more complicated of these. I said I wasn't going to, but I kind of have to. I forgot to look at it, and I would like to know. Also 3. Okay. I guess I buy that, but I might even call Kasai 3.5 at that point. But yeah, so we got a bunch of we got 1.5, 2s, and 3s, which is not bad as far as complexity. And I think I agree with that. But that's what's going on with these Blitz decks. The thing that I still think, I like getting the extended arts, and this kind of makes up for the complaint I'm about to give. I like having the extended art cards. I love having the foil heroes again. Haven't had that in a while. Outside of it, like, you can look at the Blitz decks. You can look at the Professor's box, the Tolarian Community College, that product, the Around the Table. And, you know, we had foil stuff in there. We had Majestics in there, which, that's my complaint. Is the first Blitz decks we did, the Monarch one, granted, they were like unique cards to it. They were those mentors, but we had Majestics, and then we had them in Around the Table, but we haven't seen, and Classic Battles. Can't forget Classic Battles. Here's to you, Dorinthia. So, to some degree, I understand why they don't do it, at least not as far as new ones, but I do feel like each one of these should maybe have, like, a copy of their Majestic, specialization from the set, or just a staple Majestic for that class. Maybe not a new one, but I feel like there should be something in these from that M slot. That's just an opinion. It's not something that I think is a huge make or break, because I do think these are really good, and they look pretty solid as far as how they would actually do on the table relative to at least the other Blitz decks. But, I mean, these are decent low-level. They're not going to be meta-winning, but they might come do some damage at an armory kind of quality, at the very least, for somebody who's good at it, or just somebody who's like, I just want to pick something up and play and not feel like I'm getting completely railroaded. These look pretty decent for that, I do think. So yeah, Heavy Hitters Blitz decks, along with the rest of Heavy Hitters, get a 2.5. I can't show you the half one. I have it in the other room. But 2.5 thumbs up for Heavy Hitters and for the Heavy Hitters Blitz decks. I do like this a lot. These decks do feel like they're a pretty good place to. Somebody asked me, Andrew from the Cardboard Cohorts. I've tried to get him into this game so many times, and he's had such a hard time with it. But he asked me the question, is Heavy Hitters a good place for people to jump in? And kind of what I answered him was, I think it is. Again, you see it. Rhinar and Kasai both getting like 3 stars deck complexity on their internal ratings. Their internal ratings are worth what, they are what they are. They are used to the game. Somebody still coming in could have a different opinion. That's fine. I handed a friend of mine a Kano Wizard Blitz deck for his first time ever playing, and I trucked him the first game, and he smoked me the second one. So, and that one was 5-star, I think. So, your mileage may vary. I think that these decks themselves are a pretty decent starting point, just to kind of get structure for even expanding out to a CC deck. But I think they're a pretty solid structure if you're thinking Blitz. But, Warrior, Brute, Guardian, 3 of our first heroes from back in Welcome to Wraith. We've seen them pop up here and there. We got the original KO and Kasai came in Crucible of War. Rhinar had this same version of Rhinar, different art, but the ability, he's been around since WTR. But then we got Betsy, Olympia, and Victor for 3 new versions of, or, you know, new versions of each of those classes. And all of them kind of do something fun. Like, all of these are just kind of interesting, quirky little things. Maybe not my style. Like, I look at Victor and I'm like, I'm probably not going to play Victor. I could see myself giving Betsy a try, and I've not seriously considered Guardian at any point. Same thing. It's like, Rhinar's been around. I haven't necessarily seen anything that from this that's going to persuade me to play Rhinar. KO, on the other hand, looks like fun. And then I'm torn on Olympia. I feel like Olympia would be a fun side deck that I might build, and I actually really liked him in Limited, but I can't get there as far as Constructed. Now, Kasai in Constructed, with her kind of signature card being one that builds her some allies to come out and chop stuff down with her, she could be fun too. So I think that this is a good smattering of classes. These aren't doing all kinds of arcane. You're not doing funky stuff like that. Like, these are classes that are in there to fight. I think that is a pretty big pro for this. But if you're like, I don't really like this, I do like Dorinthia, you know, giving my own biases, but there's plenty of stuff in this set that if you're like, okay, I'll pick up a Dorinthia Blitz deck and then a box of Heavy Hitters, or whatever the case may be, or just fill out singles from Heavy Hitters and get the stuff I want, and I'll stack up. It's a great set for that too. Like, any heroes of these classes, you can build them up to be pretty nasty now with cards from this set. So I don't know if that completely answers Andrew's question. And I'm glad to take follow-ups on that. But I do think maybe not like best ever set for new players. There's a certain amount of, with all of it being one class, Bright Lights was a pretty decent option for that. This is close though. It has that, I loved Outsiders for the same reason, that it was, you know, 2 heroes of 3 classes. Let's boost them up. Let's make the classes better. Give them some fun toys and go. Heavy Hitters is very much like that. But I feel like with longer classes that have been around longer, granted, you know, Ninja had been around, but Ninja is very much that chippy, I want to throw a lot of little attacks. With exceptions. They throw some big ones in there. You know, generalization. But I feel like Assassin, and less so Assassin, but Ranger is pretty hit or miss. Lots of big numbers, but you can just get completely shut down by some stuff. I feel like there's less of that with these classes. They're more straightforward classes that can just be used to good effect. I think I definitely do agree that if not the best, this is a very good introductory point. This is a very good set to come in and pick up, even just inside of this set, and get some good stuff and get a great feel for the game and start learning it. I definitely think that is true. I hope that this has been a useful conversation for you, for all of you, and Andrew especially, since he asked the question. But this is good times. I'm really tickled with this. Like I say, I probably, at least not right off the rip, playing any of these heroes specifically, though Betsy, KO, Kasai all kind of have some, maybe, to them. But there's a lot of stuff I love for Dorinthia in here, which Bright Lights didn't have. So yeah, I'm thrilled for this one. I'm ready to open some more boxes. This video is probably, I'll leave that aside. But I've had fun with this regardless. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I hope this wasn't a waste of yours. I hope it was time well spent for you. Have a good one. Bye, y'all.